Hey, how's it going? Bright out. No deal. You can still get the full scene of my dungeon here. All right. I'm changing this up just a little bit. I normally do the Pentax talk. There'll be a little bit of other photography stuff in here, but it still all pertains. I do have some Olympus gear. That's why it's in the title. So this is a EM5 Mark III, I believe. Yeah. So I'll talk about that a little bit. But there was some hadn't done one of these in a while. There has been some Pentax news. So uh, it was released recently that they're going to come out with some new lenses they put in their new lens lineup. So if you're watching this after the fact, like I always say, the chat doesn't show up for like 12 hours or whatnot. Let me find something to. I'm going to be doing an unboxing of just some stuff I got in the mail, some photography stuff that I resell on eBay. And I'll be talking about the Olympus system. And I've got a couple other vintage cameras coming, digital. I say vintage, but it's like, okay, they're not. What is considered vintage? They're it's well, I guess it's kind of at the when the digital started to kind of boom and take off. But all right, let's get right into it. Let's talk about the lenses that they said that they were going to release. They had the 100 millimeter for Pentax, the 100 millimeter. They're just going to re-release it, and if you hadn't seen it, it's on Pentax Rumors. It's probably everywhere now, but they're just going to re-release it with HD coding, which if you hadn't seen that before, Pentax Forums did a review of all the SMC coatings compared to the HD coatings on all the DA lenses, DA limited lenses, I think. And there's really not a difference. So basically, they're just re releasing them and telling you that they're so much better, but they're not. You're just going to spend more money, is what it is. And if you saw the picture that they were comparing it to, I hadn't had the 100 millimeter macro in a while, but that 100 millimeter macro is outstanding. I saw the picture on Pentax Rumors, and it had like this horrible purple fringing, and I don't remember that lens having much or even at all. So they're like trying to trash their older lens and getting you to buy this newer lens. Just the only thing is they're adding new coating. I mean, it's still all the information hasn't been released. They should add a limiter on there, which they don't. I don't use that lens. I sold that lens because I prefer the Tamron 90 millimeter more. It's just larger in size, and the way I've talked about this before. The larger in size and just the focus ring on it. Since I do a lot of times when you're doing macro photography, you'll be in manual focus, so it's just a more pleasant experience for me. Both those lenses are excellent, but I just prefer that one a little bit more. And then there was, what was the other lens? The couple that they added to their map of new lenses to be coming out. One was a wide angle lens, and I think somebody or Pentax Rumors said it was going to be a wide angle prime lens, but who knows? 20, 24 or 20 or 35, something, or 28 or 35, I think is what they were rumoring it to be, but who knows on that. I think that was FA, full frame. I'm not sure. And then 75 to 300, which I guess that's just going to be an FA, like just like every other one. So I guess they're just probably going to take one out of their old old suitcase of old lenses and just redo it and make it a little bit better. Hopefully they'll add PLM to it for a full frame zoom. I mean, they need that because they don't really have that. I mean, they have the 200 and 300 DA star lenses, but they're optimized for crop sensor cameras. But they do work on the full frame, and they work excellent on the full frame K1. Um, but I'm guessing that will come out at a cheaper price since it is 75 to 300s are pretty cheap. So I'm guessing it would be in the $400 range when it came out, and maybe lower in price. But we'll see when it, we'll see. What do you expect them to come out with? I mean, what would really? We're talking now about the future of Pentax. Is this lens future? Is that does that make you happy? Those three lenses being upgraded or being new, does that entice you to still be a Pentax user? Does it make you want to buy those lenses? I'm pretty happy with the lenses I have right now, so I don't think I'd buy any of those unless something that wide angle is like out of this world or something. So I don't think I'd buy any of those. Um, do you feel that Pentax listens to the consumer? Um, Let me know in the chat, or if you're watching afterwards, down below in the comments. Do you feel Pentax is listening to the consumers? Let's see what else we got. Yeah, I guess since I'm talking about the future, I'll talk about the past. And on a lot of these companies, the digital camera market has gone way down. So like Olympus, they sold like a year or two ago, sold to another company, but they've released a few things, so that is a positive note. Um, but how much longer are they going to continue? Because they're a small market. They released a chart out of mirrorless camera sales recently, and actually Olympus was doing better than I thought. They were above um, Panasonic, so that was great. I like since I am mostly still shooter, I like the Olympus system more than the Panasonic system. Um, but the great thing about the Micro Four Thirds system is the Panasonic and Olympus lenses work on both systems. So, and it's so tiny and just great. I said this before. This is the EM5 Mark III. So outstanding little camera. I've been using a lot lately, and it's like packed in the menu, kind of like the K3 Mark III, as far as just in the menu, as far as everything in there. I'll do a review on this soon, but every time I try something, like I took this out today with uh, with a vintage lens. That's a good thing about the mirrorless system. You could adapt these mirrorless lenses. Oh, and I tried this one today. I don't want to break anything here. Hold on a second. Oh. All right, so I took this vintage lens out today. I'll put it on there. This is on a put it on a different camera here, but this is a I did a whole review on it, and you can see how sticky it is. These old Sigma lenses, just whatever they put on the rubber on this, everything, it's just all sticky after a few years, and it's nasty. But and everything sticks to it. I've got little hairs and everything on there. Sorry about that. But this is a 500 millimeter f7.2. As you can see there, and there's a hair there. Like I said, everything sticks to it. It's nasty, but you need to put this on a tripod. This was insane trying to use this today, because I'm using this 500 millimeter f7.2. It was sunny outside, which was great because you need it for that. But this is actually a Canon FD mount, and I adapted it for the Olympus system. I'll just go ahead and put it back on the same camera. This is a EPL2, which is my first mirrorless camera I ever owned. I've got some really old videos on my YouTube about this. I had the red one before, but anyway, I just got this recently. I'll talk about that a little bit later. But so Olympus ×2 crop factor, 500 millimeter lens, f7.2. Oh my God. It was just, yeah, it was, I mean, it was pretty hard to work. Of course, I had it on a tripod, but there was an osprey nest up in the power lines or whatever, and I was trying to get some shots with it. It took the shots. The reason I was trying to do this was because I used my Pentax before, and I was using the Pentax DA Star lens, and it was great, but I didn't have enough reach. So once my K70, I think it's 24 megapixels. So once I had cropped down just to get the bird in the shot, I mean, the resolution was way down. And just really, I mean, even though I'm just sharing it online, it just really didn't look as good as it could. Yeah, of course, I could have used a ×2 teleconverter, but every time I've used a ×2 teleconverter with the 300 DA Star lens, it just doesn't turn out as sharp. I hadn't used the actual digital one. I've used the Tacumar K-mount one, and I just thought I was better off just cropping in because it kind of, the image wasn't very sharp. But it was a lot of fun using this. I actually tried to do some handheld stuff, and man, I just, for all those photographers back in the 60s and 70s and used a manual focus lens and caught birds in flight, props off to you, man, because I didn't even try. I knew I would. I think it would probably be, if I did that, my hands are already shaky, but I try to lock elbows and make it really good. But if you could do that back in the day with film, and you don't have the shutter and all that, and no autofocus, I mean, those, yeah, props off to those guys, man. Those are hats off to them. They were just doing something I can never do. That's how far technology has gone. That have made these cameras really special. But yeah, I'll be selling this. I don't, like I said, it's all, ugh. And people are selling this for like $200. They don't have one in the FD mount, but I'm going to sell it for like 120. I'm going to put it on there because I'd feel bad selling this to somebody. As far as image quality on this, when it came out, and it was what I expected from a old Sigma Prime lens. I've used one before. Wide open, it's not going to be too sharp. So I stopped down. First thing off the bat, I stopped down to like F9, yeah, because it's 7.2 is wide open. I stopped it down to like that and tried to get some shots. And even on the tripod, since this equivalent of 1,000 millimeters, even on the tripod, just pressing the shutter, this thing like moved around. And I don't have problems with the tripod I was using. It's just so long of a lens and focal length that I had to put it on a 12-second delay, shooting shots of this osprey nest. And yeah, images weren't very sharp. They were just okay. I would have done better just using the Pentax with 300 DA Star lens, which would be a 450 equivalent, than using this. Colors were bland, and the sharpness really wasn't there. And just, I guess it's just kind of a novelty lens, old school. I mean, see there, I thought it was broken when I first got it. I was like, the focus is just so, I'm like, I couldn't see anything moving in there, but it actually focused and everything. But it was fun to try and get it to work, but it's more frustrating than it should be, than just using a modern day lens. So that's my scoop on vintage prime lenses. Some of them are good, but when you start to get out there to the really long ones, they're not that great. Let me see here. B said, I don't feel Pentax listens to their customers. Yes, I don't think so either. It's just not Pentax. Other companies don't listen as well. Yeah, I know that. But if they would, they might sell more cameras. We're in the digital camera down sloop right here. Said I'm gonna unbox some stuff. Before I do that, I'll talk about what we got. We'll talk about Olympus real quick. I'm going back and I'm buying some old cameras that I used to have when I first started photography. So I did buy this, and I'm going to give you some tips if you want to buy some. If you've been shooting for a number of years, and my first camera was a Canon T2i, or first digital camera, T2i, Canon T2i. So I bought this one. I used to have the red one. I've got a couple of videos about this from 2011, I think, on my channel. But yeah, this is the EPL2. Sorry, that light. I need to turn one of those lights off. But anyway, no viewfinder. It's all. I don't know if I got a battery in this still. But I was surprised looking back at it, just going through there and shooting with it. I had a lot of fun shooting with it. It's so small. I just use this little hand strap that I got off eBay years ago. And I mean, I could just take this on a walk. The reason I bought this is it came with two lenses. It came with the kit lens, and which is a 14 to 42, and then the 40 to 150. So I got all this shipped from Japan for 160 something dollars, tax and all. No, yeah, 172, I think is what it ended up with, tax and all. And I was mainly buying it just for these two lenses, because this lens right here sells for $90 and this lens sells for $90. So, I mean, that's 180 bucks. So basically you're getting the camera for negative $20. Oh, you have the EPM2. Okay, that's real similar. I think that's even smaller than this. This thing is tiny. Even though it's tiny, it actually, for mirrorless, it actually fits in my hand better than like Sony products. This one has a problem though. I don't know if you can see that. You see that flashing? And this is common with the EPL1. I had one of those, and the IS is broken in this, so it wasn't that big a deal to me. I just messaged the seller, and he's like, "Well, I can give you a discount." I must have missed that because all he sells is camera stuff. I was like, "No, it's not that big a deal because I think I'm going to keep this. I'm just going to use this as a tester camera anyway." And I just wanted to have fun with it, and I really don't need IS with this. I was kind of nice to him because he was nice to me back when I just told him that there was a problem with it. So I was just like, don't worry about it, because like I said, these two lenses are worth more than the camera. So it was an awesome deal. Don't be afraid to order from Japan off eBay. They generally you generally get the stuff quicker than you do from US if you're in the US. It's funny how that works. And they have a lot more stuff that you get from Japan than you can from anywhere in North America. So Japan is basically where a lot of this stuff is made. So I bought both of those lenses for this Olympus EM5 because all I have is this little, and this lens is fantastic. It was it 14 millimeter? I don't have my glasses on. 14 millimeter f2.8 is, or f1. All right, where's my glasses? I don't want to lie to you. It is a 14 millimeter f2.5 is what it is. So that's what that one is. Any questions? This is the end of Olympus. Any questions about Olympus at all? It's an awesome system. There's so much packed in there. I swear it's like looking through a K3 Mark III menu. There's so much stuff. When I was using this lens, I used it on here. But when I was using this lens, just looking at the drive modes, there's a silent, there's like tons of different drive modes just in that. It's It's a fantastic system. Like I said, and this is the EM5s are so much better than the EM10s. The last one I had was the EM5 Mark IV, and they just stripped down the menu so much because they want to make this one, the EM1, I guess, is their flagship, but they just wanted to make this one so much better. And just with the flippy screen out here, and the way the OVF, when you put your eye up to it, is a lot better than the EM10. Just going back and forth through there. It's a lot of fun using this camera, and it's totally customizable, just like the Pentax as well. And yeah, if I wasn't shooting Pentax mainly, this would be my camera of choice. I'm glad I bought it. It was way up there in price years ago, and I was like, I'm not going to spend that much money. But when it came down, I think I bought it for $600, $650, something like that. And that's why I bought that. And I just bought it with that lens right there, and I've been having a lot of fun just using that. Very lightweight, awesome. Oh yeah. Like I said, when you're buying stuff on eBay, go ahead and buy it with two lenses. If you find a camera that you're interested in, make sure to buy it and have a couple lenses with you, because if you buy them separate, like I said, this is 90 and this kit lens is 90. It makes no sense if you just buy the body. So don't buy just a body unless you already have all the lenses, because you'll end up spending a lot more after a while, because you're going to buy this kit lens and you'll be, oh, I need a telephoto, so you'll have to buy this and spend an extra 90. That's what I did. I bought the Canon T2i, my original first digital SR camera. And one of the reasons I just wanted to reminisce about it, and leave below when you bought your first digital SLR or interchangeable lens camera, what brand did you go with, and what camera, and why'd you go with that particular one? The reason I went with the T2i, Canon T2i, was that's when they first came out with HD video, and I was wanting something with HD video because my daughter was just born, and before you'd have to buy a video camera and a digital camera, but this DSLR had everything in it. It had 1080 video and excellent stills, 18 megapixels. But I bought it to try this out too. I got this in a junk lot, and then this is the camera grip, the battery extension that has two batteries in it and works in that camera. So I'm going to try that out. First camera was the K100D. All right, cool. Yeah, I wasn't familiar with Pentax back then, and they didn't have. I don't think they came out with the 180 or 1080 video until a little bit later. After Canon, because Canon was kind of the forefront of putting out that digital video, and they had lots of people back then on YouTube using like a nifty 50 f1.8 and making some incredible videos with that. So I'm going to try this out just so I could resell it. I don't like battery grips, so I'm just going to resell this. It's like worth like $40. But the camera that I bought, the T2i, came with the kit lens and then a 75 to 300, and I bought it for $165, I believe, shipped. Same price as that Olympus, and I could sell the 75 to 300 for about $80 plus, and then the kit lens, the 18 to 55, for $40 to $50. So it pretty much pays almost for that camera, and it will be my new tester camera. Hopefully everything works on it. So should be getting that soon. I just sold something. Let's see here. I'll go back to the future of Pentax. I was talking about the future, and I've seen a few posts on Facebook about this, where they think the future is going. It's kind of up in the air. So I mean, they're doing these little minor things lately, which they do. They've done that for years. So I'm not sure where the future of Pentax is going. But I do like some of the things that have been done in the past. If you didn't know, and I would have hoped that I think I mean Fuji's good and everything. I hadn't used one. I see excellent videos about it and everything. But I'm curious on what people's thoughts are about Fuji. So when Fuji first released their first DSLR, I don't know if you know this, but it had a Canon F mount, so you could use Canon or not Canon, Nikon F mount, so you could use Nikon lenses on it. Really cool. I have a couple of broken ones in there. It wasn't a very good system because there's tons of broken ones on eBay, but so they partnered together, I guess, with Nikon in some aspect, or paid some money just to have that mount. Um, and it's interesting that they broke off and didn't do that. I guess because they went mirrorless, but they had only stuck with that for a little while before they went off on their own. And obviously Nikon has a bit more of the market than they do. And with the market squeezing down on these digital cameras, I don't. Is Pentax going to be sold? I don't know. I mean, because if you look at profits and stuff, they're not that good. But I see a little bit of up. You know, if you look at some of the charts that have come out recently, you see some of the stuff moving up and then goes back down, just like the market does. So I don't know. I cannot predict what's going to happen with Pentax. Um, yeah, Nikon N75. I just sold a Nikon N65 today for a whopping $16 plus shipping. So, uh, which is actually pretty good considering probably 2 years ago it probably would have sold for $8. So it's more than what I have. Basically, I'll buy a old Nikon AF film camera like that and sell the lens off, and then sell the camera separate. And so that N65 has been sitting for probably 6 months or whatnot, but it's sold. Uh, anyway, let's get into some fun stuff. Let me do some unboxings. I got two things over here that I have not opened yet that I got in the mail today, and I think one is no, there's nothing digital in here. I looked them up well beforehand. We got peanuts all over the place. So if you don't know, I buy and resell stuff on eBay, and I bought these two offline. Try not to get all the peanuts everywhere. Well, that's not going to work. All right. Here it is. Big bag of stuff. And, oh, you were just talking about Nikon. First thing out of the bag, if you can see that, it's an N60. Sell for, like I said, about 15 bucks if it's working. Problem is it uses these batteries right here. I'm sure these batteries are dead. So if you buy these batteries, they're like probably $15 for two. I mean, you can go online and get them a little cheaper, but if you just go down to Home Depot or Ace Hardware or whatever, that's what they'll cost you. I mean, you could get them at. Actually, saw these are the same ones. I saw a headlamp for camping, and Energizer still makes these batteries nowadays. I just thought they would be. So it used one of these batteries. I think this is a 6 volt, something like that. But anyway, this camera's only worth like 15 bucks, and it will take me months to sell. But fourth quarter Christmas is coming up. Somebody might want one of those. So what else we got here? We got an Olympus 88 OM. So this camera is worth not very much at all. It's an OM system that they autofocus system. Wait, where's my glasses? don't see any pins on here. Yeah, anyway, it's a OM. So I have had one of these lenses listed for probably a year. I hadn't had one of these cameras. So I just sold one of the telephoto lens from this OM system. They didn't make this for too long, the autofocus system. I just sold it, the telephoto kit lens, basically, for like $18. So this, I knew this was in here. There must have been something in here I saw, or I bought all this stuff cheap. But anyway, if this camera works, I'll just sell it with the lens. Typically, I sell them separate, but I'll mess around with that later. But anyway, this isn't worth anything really. And we got a camera bag of some sort. What's in here? Let's see what we got here. We got a funky camera strap. Ooh, look at that. Oh, we got a Ricoh camera. Ricoh Sears camera. The KR53. Check that out with a Quantaray 70 or 75. No, this is 100 to 300. The 70 to 300 or 75 to 300 have a macro feature on them that's really cool. But I'll have to test this out. I'll just sell this lens. This is a Pentax K-mount. See there? I'll sell this lens $35, maybe 40. I don't know. I'll put it on there. It might sit for a while. And I'll try this camera out. I don't know how much this camera will sell. I haven't sold one of these, I don't think. So this is autofocus stuff. So I think it's autofocus. Maybe they just put an autofocus lens on here. I sold a KR52 recently, and it sold really quick for like $30. That would be a film camera that was manual focus. So anyway, cool camera. Kind of a look back at history on how far cameras have gone. Yeah, they have some nice cameras back in the film days. And that's what I was saying, like that 400, some of those guys getting birds in flight with like a 400 millimeter or 500 millimeter manual focus lens. I do not know how they did that. I mean, they're a lot better than I could have done. I've got shaky hands anyway. This is a Rokinon Ricoh Pentax lens. It is clear. Let's see, focus on that. No, it's not going to. This is a 35 to 70. I sold one of these recently for $30 or something like that. But this one's good. So yeah, all this stuff, I'll make some money on this. I like doing these open boxings. I think a lot of people like them. Oh yeah, and we got a. That's pretty cool. That's yeah. I'd have to look back. I don't think I spent more than $30 for this shipped to my house, but we got a 28 to 200 Samyang / Phoenix. So Samyang, Phoenix, Rokinon, they're just called different things in different Brower. They're called different things in different parts of the world. But push pull zoom 28. Oh, one's kind of stiff. Down. 28 to 200, and this is a Pentax K mount as well. People always ask about the Ricoh pin on this. I mean, it doesn't have one, but I try all my lenses. I'm not scared to try them on my Pentax, but I don't think I've ever. If you put them on the camera and it doesn't want to go, don't force it on there, and you'll be fine. I've never had one stuck. I think I've said this before, but I think people that have gotten them stuck have just like forced them on their camera, and then that's how that's happened. Because I try them. I don't even look at the back of them, or I look at it back and say, okay, that's Pentax, and I just put it on the camera. And if it starts to do that, I'll just sell it for a K1000 because they'll fit on that fine. Forgot to look and see if this is clear and tell you what I think I'll sell it for. Yeah, it's clear. 40 or 50 bucks on this. That's what I end up selling that. That'd be great on a K1000 if you're just looking for an all-in-one lens. The last lens here is another quant array for the well, that's weird. Oh, this one's broken anyway. And then this is why you don't make backs made of plastic. I don't know if you see that, but that side right there of the mount is like completely broken off. So this won't even mount. So this is junk. Anyway, it actually looks like a Minolta Alpha Maxim. Oh, we got something else in here. What does that say? Konica. We got a Konica. Yeah, Konica. Just extension tubes. And what was the price? Somebody had $23.88 on here, which I guess it never sold for, but that's worth 15 bucks at most. I'll list it and it'll sit there forever. But and I got some caps. That's it for that box. Let's see here. All right, another one. This last one, we'll call it the day unless anybody else has any questions about anything else. I want to make sure I covered everything I wanted to cover here. Yeah. All right. I think this is a really cool lot. This was 2 lots that I got, and they combined shipping on it. I had something the other day that I bought, and they used like shredded paper, like all their bills and whatnot. I'm like, it was just such a mess. I'm like, I don't know why people do that. And I mean, I get it. They're trying to recycle, but it just makes a mess, and they know it makes a mess because you open the box and it's all over the place. All right, what we got here? Big old lens. Look at that. This has 6 lenses in it. Trivia question: what camera store sold quant array lenses? Quant array and Sigma are somehow affiliated. I don't know how, because a lot of them are done the same. Here where I am, we had Wolf Camera. So and there was another one that was in the mall back in the day. I'm sure they sold them. If you come across Focal was sold by Kmart. Rico was sold by Sears. So I found a lot of those. And anyway, but I hadn't looked that up. Where was the main store that quant array was sold in? So Wolf Camera. There's probably another big camera store. We had Thompson Photo, but I think that was just here in Tennessee. Yeah, the only camera store we have in town now is called F64, and they don't have anything really at all in there. So, what is this lens? Put my glasses back on here. This is a nice lens. It's it's one that's not going to sell for too much. This is a Formula 5, and it's probably in, okay, Wolf Camera. Formula 5. So this is probably under other names as well, just kind of like the Samyang and the all those other Broken On and all those, because I see a lot of them are the same deal. But this is an OM mount, Olympus OM mount. So you'll notice right here, Olympus has these 2 things right here that gives it away that it's OM, and probably don't even say OM on there. But since I sell so many of these, yeah. Anyway, this is a Formula 5, and I've found good and bad ones of these. This one seems to be like one of their better quality ones as far as build quality is concerned. It is a 75 to 205 f3.5 throughout. Look at that beast. It's got a nice little weight to it. And yeah, optics are pretty clear. Yeah, I think they're clear. To look at it a little bit more, but there's just a little dust. Dust never hurt anybody unless it's like a whole mop in there. I said there's only 6 in here, so that was the first one. We got FD mount here. This is a Sears model, right? Nope. JCPenney's. JCPenney's, Sears, Montgomery Ward all sold cameras and or lenses, and some of them are okay, some of them are not. This is the same one that Sears sells. It's an 80 to 200 f3.9. This is also made by Albanar, Vivitar, Soligor. You'll find all sorts of name brands on this, and they will kind of look exactly the same as this. So this one's actually made in Korea. This one's iffy. I'll have to look at it more in some light, but it looks like it might have some haze. I don't think there's enough to affect the image quality, but since this is JCPenney's, what I'll do is I'll just add an adapter to it and sell it to somebody that is looking for a cheap telephoto lens, manual telephoto lens for their mirrorless system. Probably sell it for 40, 50 bucks with an adapter included. I bought a bunch of adapters the other day. Oh, well, I won't cover that today. All right, what we got here? Just a teleconverter. Or is that a teleconverter? Yeah, teleconverter. Oh, no, it's not a teleconverter. It was so small, I thought it was a teleconverter. This is a preset lens, and it is a Lentar 35 millimeter f2.8. It's FD mount, Canon FD mount. And the cool thing about preset lenses, if you've never used them, it has a declicked aperture. And like I said, this one's f2.8, which is nice, but a lot of times you'll find them, it will be a 28 f3.5 or a 200 f5.6. You're like, why isn't it an f4 or whatever? But the cool thing about them is they have some really excellent bokeh, because what they'll have is they'll have more aperture blades in here, and so it'll be more rounded, smoother, creamier bokeh on these preset lenses. So if you're looking for a vintage lens, you're looking something Ritz camera. Yeah, that's the other one I was thinking of. You're looking for something with that creamy type bokeh. Look for a preset lens. This one, like I said, is a 35 millimeter f2.8 in the Canon FD mount. So, and smooth focus. And a lot of times, a lot of these, I don't know why, but they'll have something going on in them. This one does have some, it might just be in the corner, so I'll have to wipe it off on the outside, but it has a little bit of fungus on the outside. I think it's just in the corners on the outside of the element, but we'll see on that. But this one, there's not too many people that look for these preset lenses. That's like a kind of a tip there. And I try to sell them for a few dollars more, because I know there's a real big following for them, but there's not too many 35 millimeters. Usually it's 28 or 50, 55, and 135, 200 is basically how the primes go. Kind of a 35 millimeter focal length was kind of almost a specialty lens back then. So that's that lens. I'm gonna put $40 on it. Christmas is coming up, so I know at Christmas time I always buy some stuff for myself. So I might try that out on my my Olympus, because I do have that FD to micro 4/3 adapter. So that might be a fun video. I need to do some more of those. It's just so hot outside. Um, and like I said, a prime lens 135 that was very popular back in the day for portrait work. And this one again, it's got the two things on the side, so I know it's an OM, Olympus OM, and this one is well, might be on the outside. It's dirty. Oh, guess I could show you what I used to clean it. I did bring this stuff over. We could try to clean it real quick. It looks there's some fungus or haze or something, but it looks like it's just on the outside, and there's some dust on the back element, and there's a lot of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to spray my cloth. I got some lens cleaner, basically what you use on your eyeglasses or whatever. So I'll just spray it on here. Make sure to spray it on here instead of on the front of the lens, because I ran into some problems with that before, because this one's kind of open, if you could see there. If I sprayed that in there, that liquid would get down inside there, and it's just better to put it on the cloth first. So you put a heavy dose on the cloth and see what we get here. Yeah, it looks like it's cleaning up. I think I'll be able to clean that one up. I think it was just on the outside. So anyway, this what brand was this? This was Owen. So and it was OM mount, like I said. Owen. Let me see if the aperture works. Come on, where are we? F16. And doesn't look like. There we go. You see that the aperture's working. I'll probably adapt this. I've got so many. Well, I don't have too many. I don't know if I'll sell it just as an OM mount or if I'll adapt it, but I do have some OM adapters still laying around. So I'll see how many 135s I have on my adapted list right there. Yeah, old 135s, man. I don't know when they switched over, and everybody said, "Oh, the 85 millimeter is the perfect portraiture lens now." I don't know. I guess maybe people moved inside and started shooting inside, and that 135 was just too long of a lens. But 135, man, on my Canon, I took some. I don't do too many portraits, but that was my preferred lens. I had the 85 1.8 Canon, and I preferred that 135. Well, probably because it was an L series lens. Oh, here we go. This is a good lens. We got a modern day lens that's autofocus. So you see that 28 to 105. This is USM for the Canon EF mount. See there. This one's, I think I can get slightly over $100 for this. This was kind of what lens did this come on? Or what camera? I don't know if it was anyway, I get about $100 for this, maybe a little bit more. But this is optimized for full frame. Anytime you see when it's 28 to 105, when it's 28 instead of 18, it's pretty much guaranteed that it's optimized for a full frame camera. But that's what this is. So nice lens. I don't know if I've actually used this. I've tested it, but I don't know if I've actually used it. Somebody else says something here. How do you choose a lens for the Pentax K mount? Is there an alternate that is compatible with the Pentax K mount camera bodies with decent quality? I mean, you could adapt. They make adapters. If you like the vintage stuff, you could go back and use a Pentax M42 Mount Adapter for the Pentax system. I think that's the only one I would recommend doing if you want to kind of adapt stuff. I have a Pentax to MD Minolta MD adapter, and what it does is it sticks out. I don't have it sticks. The adapter sticks out like that much, and all you can do with it. I mean, it works, but all you can do with it is it doesn't focus to infinity, so you can only focus probably 6 feet or so, um, and that's all you can do because it sticks out. Just because the mount's not made for that. If you're looking to like really adapt a bunch of lenses, you really should go mirrorless because you could. The sky's the limit with mirrorless as far as adapting lenses. It's not Not very usable in the DSLR market. You could adapt in Canon. You could adapt some of those. You could adapt M42 mounts, but if you're going to adapt an M42 mount, the best system for that is just going back to the Pentax, because the adapter actually fits inside the flange there, and the other ones, it sticks out just slightly. And anytime you add extra space there, anytime you add extra space there, that's when it won't be able to focus to infinity. So like Nikon and Canon, if you got an M42 mount adapter, it would stick out very, very, very shortly, but with wider angle lenses, say like a 28, if you try to put one of those on there, it wouldn't focus to infinity. But anything like 55 millimeters, 50 plus, will focus to infinity fine. So that's what I've found as far as those are concerned. But yeah, Pentax, the only thing I would recommend is getting an M42 mount adapter. Those are Honeywell cameras. I've got one. I'm gonna go grab it. I'll show you what it looks like. Okay. I actually have 3 of these sitting on the pool table. So here you see how flat they are. So that fits right inside. I'll have a Pentax here, but it will fit completely inside that flange. And some of them are a little tough to get out, so I recommend getting a quality one. But there's other YouTube videos on how to get them out. Like, see this one, somebody had a hard time getting out because they broke it. There's a little springy piece of aluminum or some metal right there, and it's totally missing off this. So, and it's funny because the Pentax ones that are actually Pentax, a lot of people say those are a lot better. Because if you buy a generic one, they're harder to get out. But yeah, like, look online. But it's really fun to adapt these to the Pentax system. All right, last one. What do we got here? It's a Sears lens, like I was talking about earlier. And what is this one? I've got 2 of these I sold recently. This is the 80-200 F4 Sears lens. It's just got a little bit of dust. It's probably on that element, but it's fine. Bush pole, I have, I don't know how many of these have. I've just started adapting all these because I've got so many in the Pentax realm. This one is FD mount. And that's about it. So if you want to support me, I think I've got my eBay listing below, so you can buy an old Pentax K mount lens and try it out. That's a cool thing about Pentax. You don't really need to adapt any lenses to them, because the K1000 was the most popular camera back in the 70s and 80s there. So it had 20 years of production. So they made plenty of third-party lenses, and I've got plenty in my store for $25 in that range. So just try some out. If you have a question, you can contact me in my eBay store if there's a couple you're looking at, and I can tell you what one I think is better to actually try out. There'll be manual focus, and there'll be manual aperture. There's some that are auto aperture. If it's an auto aperture, that means you can adjust it on your camera. See if we've got one here. Yeah, this one has an auto aperture, and I'll try them all out. You can switch it into that, and then you can adjust if you want to shoot in aperture priority. It will be adjustable on your camera instead of trying to adjust it up here. Also, the only camera that I'll talk about that another time. I don't want to get into all that. It'll be a long, drawn-out thing. Anyway, everybody, thanks for watching. Thanks for all your support, and I'll be doing another one of these. I don't know when, but if Pentax comes out with some news, I'll probably be doing one. But thanks for all your support, and I guess get out there and shoot. I do every morning. It's like a stress reliever, and just be at one with nature. It's really nice, and I love it. That's why I love this hobby, and it's fantastic. Thanks for everybody for tuning in, and go ahead and subscribe if you hadn't, and I will be seeing you next time. Have a good night.